What's up once again? It's your boy on another episode of Unedited, where we talk about the things that are uncensored and unedited. It's episode 11, I believe. I'll have to check that. If you hear how I sound, I'm a little under the weather, but we still bringing Unedited to you live and direct. What you were hearing is my music grab of the week, and that is a little guy by the name of CMD. You can catch him on SoundCloud, and that song was called The First Samurai. Real electronic hip-hop for you. By the way, CMD stands for Christopher Miles Dotson. Yes, that's right, he is my son. On that track, he's actually got two other tracks on there that y'all probably need to check out, but it's on SoundCloud under CMD Dimension 7, 7 spelled with the 7 and then even. So check that out if you would. That's the music grab of the week. And we're going to change a little bit basically what I've been trying to do. We've had the moment of the day, and we're going to change that to the thought of the day. And the thought of the day on this new episode 11 is going to be, why do people at night, when they're driving their cars down a road that is perfectly lit, feel the need to put their brights on? I don't understand that. Think about that, and we'll get to it. Next up, we're going to talk about the football corner. My favorite team is the Denver Broncos. I've said it on many occasions. I was a Denver Bronco fan since 1985. I'll stay a Denver Bronco fan no matter how many ways you slice it. I'm still that. So the question that was brought to me was about, someone asked me, would I rather have Kirk Cousins or Eli Manning? And I said that I would much rather have neither. Yes, Eli Manning is not washed up by any stretch of the imagination, but he's inconsistent. Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback, but he's got to be in the right system. And I'm not 100% sure if Bill Musgrave's system is right for Kirk Cousins. They would have to change a lot of stuff. I still think that going to the draft and finding that diamond in the rough would be better. I personally would actually like a Kerry Collins type person that could play in any kind of system and adapt very well. Do I think Eli Manning could adapt? Sure, but I'm just not 100% sure if he's willing to go someplace else or follow his brother to the same place that his brother went to. I just don't think that is. My prediction is that they'll probably go with Cousins, younger and still has a long career in front of him. And I honestly hope it works out. My gut tells me that it may not, but as I always say, Denver Bronco for life, people. All right, now for the topic of the day. This one's going to be a little bit longer because I feel like in the last couple of months, starting this podcast, YouTube show, my talk show or whatever, I've had a lot of people ask me, how did you come about that? And the way that I came about that is that a long time ago, a lady by the name of Kenna helped my wife and I kind of figure out our purpose. And what I want to talk about is finding your purpose and basically delivering on promises for your purpose. So I am still on that journey of making sure that everything that I do in my life reflects my purpose. And I can tell you what my purpose is. My purpose is to bring light and intelligence into the world by using my voice and using this platform in order to do that. I'm not very good at mathematics. I'm not very good at science. I love to read, but I'm not an English scholar. But what I know about the most is I know about life and I know people. And I want to be able to take this show and all throughout my life and try to touch people in such a manner that I can either give them the spark to understand what their purpose is, or show them what they could do once they find their purpose. I'm still on that journey and still climbing that ladder. I have no intentions of being rich or being famous, but I think the reason I'm doing this is just because I know that a lot of people do this and they dress all this stuff up and they forget what their purpose is. I'm doing my best not to forget what that is, and that's my purpose. But finding your purpose is very hard. One of the things that I figured out about my purpose is that I had to take out certain people out of my life because they served no purpose, right? So people that drag you down, or environments that hold you down and don't lift you up, they're not in line with your purpose. And you have to be in line with whatever your purpose is in order to stay on the journey of finding it. So once you've found your purpose, whatever that purpose is, you may decide that you've been working in retail for 25 years like me and figured out that that's really not what your purpose is. So how do you find it? Well, you sit down and you write down all the things that you think you're good at, and then you write down all the things that you're not good at. And then you just do a process of elimination. And then whatever it is that you like to do, love to do, and you know that it doesn't seem like work, then I would try to go after that, whether it's going back to school, whether it's doing what I'm doing now, whether it's going to become a retail manager. Some people have that dream. I can't, I'm not in the business of taking away or downtrodden on other people's dream. You may want to be a politician, which, as we've seen over the last, year, doesn't require too much education. That's a sidebar. Don't take too much into that, but that's just my opinion, and my opinion's mine, and I get to have it. But what I'm saying is in order to find it, you have to kind of whittle down all of the things that mean a lot to you. And then you have to, get your priorities in order. If your priorities are money, sex, and drugs, your priorities are probably a little whacked off. My priorities are very simple: God, family, purpose, work. Because I still got to go to work to make a living and pay for bills, because this is not paying me any money yet I do it still, because I'm not expecting to get a lot of money out of it. I'm only expecting to reach out and try to see if someone else either feels the same way or disagrees with what I'm saying, or has some ideas for future shows that I can do, so that, hey, I'm into it. I love it. I love getting that stuff. Anyway, so once you've found your person, you've whittled it all down to what it is you want to do. Now you have to stay in line with your purpose, which means some friends that you have that will drag you down probably are not in line with your purpose. And I'm not saying that you cut a bunch of people off Facebook or you stop being people's friends. You may have to switch your friendship to an acquaintance. Because if you're listening to the opinion of somebody that's telling you you can't do it, that's the most craziest thing I've ever heard of. That doesn't make any sense. Then you're going to have to sidebar those people into people that you see on the street and say, hey, man, how you doing? Oh, I'm all right. All right, good. I'll talk to you later. Because your real friends are going to support you in what you do. Your real friends are going to lift you up. And your real friends are going to create an environment for you in order for you to cultivate your purpose, to breathe life into your purpose, and take your purpose to the next level. So all of those things, staying in line with your purpose, are going to be the things that will ascend you up a little bit higher than what you would normally be if you had friends that didn't want you to succeed. Now, it's like a bucket of crabfish. Sometimes you'll have people in there that will, in a bucket of crawfish, you see them trying to climb up, and then another one will bring them down. You don't want all of that disgust and all of that in your life. The second thing that you probably need to do in finding your purpose and staying in line with your purpose is going to be a hard one, because sometimes your family can be the ones that tell you that you can't do something. So your family either they come from a long line of people who did this one thing, or they're people that believe that you should be doing something else, but you know that your purpose is doing the opposite of what they say that you should be doing, right? You're going to have to be able to maneuver and possibly cut out your family, or your family then becomes, they become the people on the sideline, the peanut gallery, the people that are talking, and you can't pay attention to that because it will drag you down as well. Now, this is a very hard thing to do. When people talk to you, or when your family talks to you, they're going to talk to you about, why aren't you going to school? Or why haven't you quit school? Or why don't you go get a real job? Or whatever those things are. But if you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, and you've whittled everything down, and you've got your purpose down, and you can write it in 2 or 3 sentences, you know what's up, then you have to stay in line, and you're going to have to ignore the things that your family says. Because believe it or not, your family is a very powerful being, in the sense that they've known you longer than anybody else has known you, right? And so you've listened to them over the last 20, 30 years, and now you're trying to find your purpose, and your purpose is not in line with what they want. So it's going to be extremely hard to try to take away or push back some of the things that your parents or your brother, your sister, your uncle, whoever is trying to tell you that you should be doing versus what you know your purpose is, right? And then the third thing is, in order to stay in line with your purpose once you found it, is to prioritize everything in whatever order you deem it necessary, okay? And then all of your ducks or your dominoes should fall in a row. So what I mean by that is, a lot of times you'll get distracted by other things, or a quick route to try to find your purpose, because it's really not an easy route. And once you found it, the road gets harder from there, be it from your family or your friends. So you have to prioritize what's important. Your purpose is important, but is your intermediate family that you have, so if you're married and you got kids, is that more important than your purpose? Is God more important than your purpose, right? So you have to prioritize those things, because once you prioritize those things, then everything kind of falls in line. I think a lot of people, when they figure out what their purpose is and they're on the road, they tend to try to prioritize things that maybe don't line up with their purpose. No, I'm not saying that you need to disregard your family or you disregard your friends. I'm saying to disregard toxic friends or toxic members of your family that are going to basically drag you down and put you in an environment that won't let you blossom or succeed. Big difference, big difference. So if your mom's always had your back and your priorities are in order, then you should be okay. But if your priorities are not in order, whichever you deem those priorities to be in that order, then you stay in line with your priorities and your purpose shall fall into place. I think a lot of people go through life and not know what their purpose is. Because purpose is a very big word. It's not a big word, but it's a very important word, because it can sometimes guide what it is you do for the majority of your life. I think someone said a long time ago that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, correct? So when you find your purpose, that is in the same vein as working for something that you never feel like you're working, because you enjoy doing what you're doing, because your purpose is in line, your priorities are in line, and you're doing what you love to do. And right now, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I think this has been one of those things that I enjoy. If anybody else knows me, knows that I love to talk and I love to have those kind of conversations. What's up, Robert? I see you out there. What's up, Natalie? And I do this because I feel like my life is reflective of a lot of people's own struggle. Not that I hadn't been to jail. Well, I hadn't been to prison. I've been to jail a few times, but I hadn't been to prison or spent a long time being incarcerated. I didn't rob any banks. I didn't go through a lot of stuff, but I went through the normal kind of family drama that happens. I've been through stuff at school and bad decisions that I've made, and had a period of my life where nothing in my life was right until I found my purpose and found out that when you find it and you're still on the road to try to get there, everything tends to happen the way it's supposed to. It flows. There may be a couple of stumbling blocks, but you never really take a back step. You never go backwards. You always go forward, right? But, there's going to be some trials and tribulations on the road of staying in line with your purpose or finding your purpose, but you'll eventually get there. And it's not, time is not a predator. I think time is more of a companion. And if you use it properly, then you'll get there within the time that's allotted. Okay? But as I always say, finding your purpose is a hard road. Staying in line with your purpose is even harder. So if you've enjoyed this video, like it on Facebook, and it'll be up on YouTube here very soon. But like I said at the top of the show, my son's got a couple of hip-hop records on SoundCloud. Check those out on SoundCloud. CMD, First Samurai, Dimension 7, One Armed Swordsman. I bought him a keyboard, so he's just been going to town on it. That's what he wanted for Christmas. I hope everybody's having a great day today. Hopefully I'll get better. Hopefully I ain't got strep or anything, because God knows in this house, everybody gets sick, then I get sick, and it's not good. Hey, like me on Facebook, leave some comments below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and subscribe right here. I don't even know if you can subscribe. Like I said, I'm still new to this. But once again, this is episode 11 of Unedited. I hope you enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it as well. And like I always say, live today like it's your last.